Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique and Different with me, Shamga. And today I have Stefan Dukaran, who is the newly elected Director and PRO of the Trinidad and Tobago chapter for Disabled Peoples International. And I also have today Ryan Houghton, who will be our interpreter. So good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Ryan. Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm good.
So great. Let's get straight into it. So you were recently elected as the director of the Trinidad and Tobago chapter for Disabled People International. Can you let us know about the election, and not only that, I mean, why did you put yourself up for such a role?
All right. Good morning. About 2 weeks ago, the Disabled People International, we had a general meeting, and they decided that they wanted to be a change. They wanted to have representation for the blind. They wanted to have representation for those in wheelchairs. They wanted the PRO to be someone. They wanted everyone in different positions to represent different disabilities so that they would all be well represented. Because this is a way to move forward and be all inclusive in Trinidad and Tobago, where the blind, the deaf, those physically disabled, any type of disability, anything that you may need would be followed, would be focused on, and for the next 3 years, much more inclusive. For example, when it comes to Ministry of Social Development, we can make good and well-informed pointers on things that would need to be improved as it pertains to technology, sign language, policies, those things need to be put in place. So many things. So that's why we wanted to have such a representation from the blind community, from the deaf community, from all communities coming together.
Well, you spoke about having a diverse, outlook in terms of, with this Trinidad and Tobago chapter for the Disabled Peoples International. Can you tell me personally some of your goals that you envision for the next year going forward?
Okay, so some goals are they need to have better transportation. For example, maybe technology will be needed for when it comes to the deaf using public transport. I realize that maybe something such as a beeping light would be needed. What about those in wheelchairs? How do they enter a bus? They need to have more public transport with ramps. You know, there's very few buses or transport that could tailor to those in wheelchairs. Education now, and employment that needs to be improved where all disabled, deaf, blind, those in wheelchairs need to be included. Education tailored to their needs. Because a lot of people are looking at, oh, you're in a wheelchair, you're disabled, you can't enter the workplace, or you're blind, how can we teach you? You can't read. There's so many different problems that are faced, and these things need to be improved. Is their right?
Yeah.
Also, parking. When it comes to parking, using bathrooms, restrooms, not all are easily accessible, like private companies, other companies, need to be in a grocery. Parking for wheelchairs, those using wheelchairs is lacking in some. And also things in the deaf community also need to be fixed. So yeah.
So, okay, so by doing this, you have to reach out to the relevant person in authority to have that impact, right? How do you plan? I know it's an early stage, but what do you envision on planning on reaching to engage with these persons and having an impact for them to actually put things in policy in place to, I guess, change not only the perspective, but the rules and laws?
All right. So at the moment, Deaf Persons International, the executive, they comprise of those, but it's the south, north, west, and east. There are directors for each district. And they are there to assess the problems or find the problems existing in each different area. And then we're going to come together and have a sit down with the ministry. So things and policies that would be changed with things to include the rights for those disabled, the right of an interpreter in different districts, in different establishments, those that are blind, who would be there to guide them. The different policies would be put into place, but communication would first begin with those in the north, south, west, and eastern regions, everything that they would need, everything they require, things that they experience and require fixing. And then we're all going to come together in a much organized way. Yes. As like having a council, just as you see in politics, right? We're going to have the same thing and come in a much more organized way, because it's very important that policies need to be adjusted, because I think most times we are really left behind. Policies are put in place for those that are not able, hearing people, and those that are disabled need to catch up. We're always playing catch up. So I think it's about time things are put really on an equal footing.
We recently saw that there were, that happened in certain areas in Trinidad, and in terms of flooding, and roads have been cut off, persons' homes have been flooded out and marooned in some cases. How did the Trying Tobago chapter for the Disabled People International intervene? And were there any form of communication? And what can you see be done in terms of communicating with these persons? Because so far I haven't done anything about in terms of the vulnerable society being, dealt with in these areas.
Hey, that's a very good point. So, Disabled Persons International, right? We have an emergency response team. That's already been established. People have already been trained. Those who have to deal with those who need to communicate with the deaf, those in wheelchairs, they have all been trained. And if we get word that, there's going to be bad weather, etc., we do disseminate information. We do check on those in areas that are disabled to ensure that they are fine. So there is a communication team to communicate with those that we have listed, and we know that because probably before there was no log of where anybody who's disabled, where they may be living, anything of the sort. So right now we're making small and simple strides to improve in that communication. There is more that still needs to be done, but yes.
The ministry, because I know the Ministry of Social Development have different, different programs and initiatives to deal with these, persons who are affected by disaster. Are you aware of their reaching out to anybody within the disabled community to determine who may need help or who may not?
The ministry has an idea of organizations, and they are aware of the executive of Disabled Persons International, and we are in contact recently. Deaf Persons International, we got some food cards to distribute, and that's very good. We're very happy for that. Congratulations. And we're going to continue working and have that working relationship with the Ministry of Social Development as it pertains to those in disabled and things they may need. Everything that have been destroyed, we will be that middleman for communication to those that are disabled.
So going forward in 2023, just I guess close off, going forward, where do you see, in terms of a different direction to have a more impact? Where do you see, this body going, and in terms of, I guess, reaching out more and having, a better, in terms of policies and values you create, where do you see this happening in 2022?
All right. Right now, we just started and things are going to be moving forward. But our goal would be to be successful in all of these plans and all of these goals that we have. We hope to have that continued working relationship and not to be overlooked by the ministry. We want to have that relationship, and we really would like to have those policies for that much needed improvement for the disabled people of Trinidad and Tobago, so that you wouldn't have to be continued in this hidden, sad, less than life, but one that is equal and much more peaceful and comfortable.
And how do persons reach out to the Trinidad and Tobago chapter for Disabled People International?
All right. There's a number from the secretary that I can share because you can call and contact him. So I can give you that number. It is 722 5651. His name, Korisha Muhammad. Korisha Muhammad. That's who you get into contact with.
Stephen, I want to say thank you so much for coming and congratulations. And I really wish you and your team all the best in, creating an impact through the Trinidad and Tobago chapter for Disabled People International. Ryan, thanks as always for coming, taking your time and interpreting. So guys, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Different. As I always say, be good, do good. Bye guys. Bye team.